Namaste and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Today I have a very special guest. So don't use the word mythology for ancient scriptures, Shastra, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Veda, Puran, because everyone uses information from there and calls them mythology, not an honest attempt. So we call them Sattology and that's what they should be called, or use a better word like Itihas, which is a Sanskrit word. A very special guest today, and let's welcome Sri Pratik Dhawan from DG
Namaskar.
Propulsions.
Thank you.
So, namaskar and thank you for joining the show. And it was a very pleasant आपका था message कि you want to join. So it is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
For viewers who do not know, so go to search Pratik Dhawan on X, so you know what I'm talking about. So when you say it's called Patty, Pattyinnovate, and Pratik is actually changing the world one thing at a time. And one of the things he has done is, आप सब लोग इंजन्स का सुनते रहते हैं कि इंडिया is not able to make engines, and this is a private company which has built an engine and is in the US to sell that engine to other people who might be used to it. Is that right, Pratik, what I said?
Yeah, that's right. We are launching in US pretty soon, and I'm doing a fundraiser here as well. It's been going great. Yeah, lot of nice things to share.
So, how did you start this journey? How did you start this journey?
It was a passion project. I was still in college, 2013. My third year, third year in college, I was in NIT, and I just, you don't think about these things, but at that age, so okay, let's do this. Let's build a jet engine. I saw a YouTube video while traveling somewhere, and I was like, I have to do this. And I always was interested in these rotary things and everything, right? I mean, these blowers and everything. I don't know. It goes back way back. I mean, I was a kid, तो आई थॉट करते हैं देखते हैं कुछ और उस टाइम पे दिमाग भी ऐसा होता है कि हाँ लेट्स डू दिस लेट्स प्ले अराउंड एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट so it started as a passion project. We gathered some parts and we knew nothing at that point. हमें कुछ नहीं आता था. No vices, बिल्कुल amateurs, like just tinkering around and all. So we bought this used turbocharger from the local junkyard and all, and we built a combustion chamber ऐसे online देख के and all that. So I used to put some videos online on YouTube, and YouTube wasn't that popular back then, at least in India. तो थोड़ा बहुत डालते रहते थे, and we were having fun, just kids having fun, and we were learning our physics on the go with it. So I was always into engine testing. By the way, मेरे को काफी शौक था engine testing का. I was working with one of my professors back in college. So we built this, and somebody higher up in the food chain, they saw my videos and they decided, okay, let's call this kid and ask him to come to Delhi and meet them. So I got a call random.
कौन सा NIT था वो?
It was in Punjab, NIT Punjab.
NIT Punjab.
I was doing mechanical engineering there. So I get this call out of the blue, and I didn't know. I was literally like 8 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, okay, who are you guys and all? And they didn't reveal anything about them. They were like, yeah, we are a bunch of people doing the same work. तो आप अगर कभी दिल्ली में होगे तो आना, बताना. We are very interested in your work, and we are doing the same stuff. तो ठीक है. So my uncles, my chachaji, two of my chachajis, they used to live in Delhi at that point, and one of them is in army still. So I talked to him. I was like, कि I got this call, and क्या कहते हो? He said, come to Delhi, meet them, या देख ले क्या भी है. So I went to Delhi after a month of that call. Turns out it was the top brass from Air Force, and they showed me around what they had, and they were importing these engines. By the way, they still import these engines from Europe and from other places. So that's how I sort of had a glimpse of कि there is a market around. There is a huge gap in this market. Nobody is doing that in the Indian space at the moment. So probably we can do something. We can make something happen. So that's how it became like a proper thing from a hobby project. So we kept on building upon. और उसके बाद I took a 1 year hiatus. After I graduated from my BTech, I took 1 year off, and I was like, I'm just gonna build this. Uh, so we built this new product. It started looking like a jet engine of some sort. पहले तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा prototype तक था, लेकिन we kept on building it. And then I came to US in 2015 to do my masters in mechanical and combustion. Like when I was here, I used to get a lot of calls from India, from some investors and all. They were like, "We want to invest in our company. If you have a company, whatever you are doing, it's a really nice thing. Keep on doing it. Make some jet engines. We really need that in India." तो धीरे धीरे मेरे को लगता रहा कि yes, there is a market, so I should keep on building this. I should keep on building this, improving this, and all. And then from that early prototype, proof of a concept thing, eventually took us a couple of years. 2016 तक we had this proper jet engine kind of a thing working. तो उसमें काफी कुछ we had done a lot of things. We had to contain the combustion in a really small volume, and this rotor was working at close to 65,000 RPM. It's itself a challenge. We have to take care of the rotor dynamics and all. So we had already done a lot of these. We had already figured out a lot of these things by 2016-17. Then we kept on building that, और हमें काफी traction मिलता रहा overall. And by 2019, we had this commercially viable product, uh, probably what you see online now. So we were doing quite extensive testing on that. We were literally testing it for endurance and everything. This video you're seeing, it's a 100 kilogram thrust, so 1 kilonewton thrust engine. Uh, we are testing it at the moment. We are testing it every day, non-stop. I mean, while I'm talking, my testing team is on it. They are doing all sorts of throttle response, uh, getting it to different RPMs all together, and they're just putting in number of hours on the engine because that's what's needed. So that's how it all started. Started as a passion project. We found out there's a gap in the market, and we kept on building.
No, it's really remarkable. So the whole journey is like a, you know, as engineers we say, he is always trial and error, always
Yeah,
trial and
it is
error,
always a
something
trial and error. Yeah,
iterative approach
yeah,
to reach the required performance levels.
right.
Testing is the most crucial element which you are doing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, लेकिन mindset is very important, right? Here, mindset is very important.
I think mindset is everything. Mindset is everything in a way. You need lot of dedication. I mean, you need perseverance is everything. You just have to like wake up every day and just keep on doing it. I i remember I was talking to one of my uh, old friends, and he knew I was working on jet engines and all. He's based off of Mumbai, and we were just chatting like a couple days ago. So somewhere in 2016 we were having lot of issues with with the rotor dynamics. So we were like literally destroying rotors left, right and center. Like हम चलाते थे वो खत्म हो जाता था. हम कुछ नया चलाते थे, it will destroy everything. It will destroy the bearings. It will even destroy the outer casings and everything, because this thing is rotating with such a high energy. तो अगर आपका 20-25,000 RPM पे भी रोटर घूम रहा है, तो it it has lot of horsepower in it, right? तो अगर वो टूटेगा तो काफी चीजें साथ में लेके टूटेगा. So I literally used to start it, and it will destroy within like 20 seconds. It was very challenging. तो एक point पे तो मेरा मन था यार, I'm done with this thing. I cannot keep on doing this. I cannot figure this out. Uh, but still, you have to come back next day and still uh, keep on thinking, give it more thought, कि क्या हो सकता है, and all that. And then we partnered with one of the really senior professors from University of Virginia. He was really kind enough to help us with the rotor dynamics. He gave us his software. He owns a company now, which does the rotor dynamic analysis and all. So we partnered with them. They were kind enough to donate us the software, and we did a really lengthy, really elaborate rotor dynamic analysis. Then we found out okay where the issues were, and eventually we were able to fix that probably in 2017-18 time. तो काफी challenges आते हैं. It's very brutal when you're doing this development.
I fully understand. ये जो the
Yeah.
software का testing phase is the worst phase.
Yeah.
Any product
Yeah.
is the worst phase. It's like you change. जैसे मैं book लिखता हूँ, editing is the worst part. उसको पूरी book वापस लिखी जा जाती है.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same way I was in the software industry. तो testing में पूरा software rewrite करना पड़ता है. Almost.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
I understand that. So this is a turbofan engine.
That's a turbojet.
Turbojet.
We are progressing towards turbofan. Turbofan is a pretty big thing, no doubt about it. It's a much complex machinery, but we have the basics solved. We are confident we should be able to get it done within the next couple of years. We'll be hiring out a really efficient team in coming weeks and months, and we are heading towards that.
So turbofan और turbofan and turbojet में क्या major difference क्या होता है, like for just for the audience?
So if I have to explain, turbojet में आपका जो पूरा intake flow है, whatever the engine is sucking in, it has to go through the core of the engine. And by core I means you suck the air, it goes through the stages of compressor, then it goes through the combustion chamber, then it goes through the turbine wheel. So in a pure turbojet, all of that air is going through the core, through the compressor, through the combustion chamber, and through the turbine. Whereas in a turbofan, you are bypassing some of the air from outside of the core, and that helps in generating much more thrust at the given RPM. तो अगर ये if it's a more technical definition, मैं उसको थोड़ा I'm really bad at simplifying things out of the normal mechanical language and all. लेकिन your final thrust is mass times acceleration. तो आप ज्यादा थ्रस्ट कैसे बना सकते हैं अगर आप ज्यादा मास फ्लो क्रिएट करेंगे या आप ज्यादा एक्सेलरेशन क्रिएट करेंगे. तो turbojet में you create much more acceleration for a smaller mass flow, but for a turbofan you create much more mass flow at a lower acceleration, but still because it's a multiplication of the two, you get much more thrust out of it. That's kind of a really simplified, I can be actually wrong as well, but it's a really simplified layman difference between turbofan and turbofans are really efficient for low speed application subsonic, and turbojets they are really good for the high speed supersonic. लेकिन आजकल even for the supersonic they are using low bypass turbofans even in the fighter jets and everything.
इसका यूसेज कहाँ होगा? ड्रोन्स में होगा? It will be used in drones or small planes?
So for the engines that we are making, biggest market is UAVs, drones, small cruise missiles, low cost cruise missiles. So low cost cruise missiles is becoming a thing now after whatever is going on around the world. So everyone has seen the drones and the swarm drones, low cost is the future. So that's what we are targeting. And for the turbofan, it's obviously going to be even big cruise missiles and eventually getting to the manned space, which is the trainer aircrafts and then even bigger aircrafts, depending on the size of the turbofan.
See, when I see the Elon Musk का था, हमारे local hero Elon Musk यहाँ पे.
Yeah.
So बाकी लोग उनको Elon Musk बुलाते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग उनको Elon Musk ही बुलाते हैं. But the kind of Raptor engines he has produced.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's a technological marvel, or what do you think in your mind?
It's a big iteration in technology. I mean, rocket engines were already there, so they are not reinventing the wheel in a sense. Lekin they are making everything really efficient. They are refining all the processes, they are refining the manufacturing, they are refining the technology, They are doing everything at a much lower cost level, and they are they're literally making everything so much more efficient. Engines are already there. NASA was building. NASA, they put people on the moon way long ago, like 30-40 years ago. So clearly, rocket technology is nothing new. Again, for a company like SpaceX, they took that technology, they took the inspiration from that technology, and they made it really, really better. And that's something we are trying to do at DG Propulsion as well. Obviously, we are not the first ones who have made jet engines. By far, we are not the first ones anywhere. I mean, this technology has been existent for many, many years ago, for like 60, 70, 80 years ago, maybe even more than that. So we are definitely not trying to reinvent the wheel. Lekin we are trying to make it efficient. We are trying to get more value out of it. We are improving the manufacturing processes. We are improving time it gets to get it to the market, from inception of the project up to deployment with the customer. So we are making everything much more efficient with a much smaller budget and a much smaller team. So that's what we are trying to do.
एक्चुअली मैं जब ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग देखता हूँ, I've been manufacturing is the backbone of any country, any country.
Definitely.
अगर
Yeah.
आपको देश बनाना है तो मैन्युफैक्चर करना पड़ेगा.
Exactly.
नहीं तो सर्विसेज इंडस्ट्री में पैसा किसको जाता है आपको पता नहीं है, बिकॉज इट्स ए
You can only go so far, right?
यू कैन गो सो फार, है ना. अगर देश बनाना है तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना ही पड़ेगा. एंड आई हैव सीन जीआईडीसी, गांधीनगर इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन, जीआईडीसी के देखा है मैंने, एमआईडीसी तो बहुत देखा है.
Mhm.
So do you think which is the best place to manufacture? हम लोग हर जगह Tamil Nadu definitely is a good place for engineering like this.
Right.
Karnataka is there. So how do you see the best innovative minds which you need? Uh, in which state is the most attractive for you right now?
Well, it's not one state. We are all obviously manufacturing our products everywhere right now. We are in Bangalore, we are in Gujarat, we are in Delhi, we are also in Punjab. So we are getting all the best services from across India. I mean, obviously we are not, when we are going out, we are not targeting a particular state or a space or anything. में जहां से अच्छा प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा at a much better cost than our competitors. For example, यहाँ जो हम पहले acquire कर रहे हैं products, तो manufacturing is happening everywhere. There are small teams, there are small companies, MSMEs. They are doing their thing, and by the way, they are doing impressive work. And most of the times we don't even realize that there is a company literally in our backyard which is like making parts for a bigger corporation like ISRO or DRDO and all, and they have all the processes and they can really make good stuff for you. So we are continuously on a lookout. So we are not targeting a particular state or part of the country in general. So we are sourcing our components from everywhere.
So do you source your components from foreign countries as well?
We have to, no doubt about it. Lekin pretty much by the end of this year, everything will be in India.
So is it like a special need that you need, like a technology or metallurgy?
It's actually not about the metallurgy, jitna sabko lagta hai. Obviously, we're not making like big high bypass turbofans for a passenger jet. Lekin the kind of material that we need for these turbojets, we have that in India. No doubt about it. We have tested the materials, our suppliers, they are able to supply us the good materials. It's most of the times it's about finding the right supplier and finding the right manufacturer for your components and all. तो उसमें थोड़ा सा time जाता है, because obviously we still don't have a centralized system where you can directly search online and okay, I need a turbine wheel, तो मैं यहाँ से बनवा सकता हूँ या यहाँ से बनवा सकता हूँ. So we spend a lot of time developing our suppliers as well. We work really closely with them, uh, and it's kind of a mutual benefit kind of a thing, right? We are empowering them so that they can empower us eventually to make good products. So a lot of times they have, बहुत बारी क्या होता है कि हमारे suppliers ने ये वाला product पहले नहीं बनाया होता. So they're not catering to a jet engine market per se. So we work with them. We relax our rigidity of working with the suppliers, and eventually we get really precisely made components. And what you see online is the components made by our suppliers, and the engines are running perfectly fine. So it's a give and take relationship with the suppliers.
See, one thing I've noticed about the Indian manufacturing, and दर्शकों को शायद मालूम हो या ना मालूम हो, but we have a very large ecosystem. मतलब
Right.
जो दूसरे countries में नहीं है.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes what happens is only the big projects get highlighted for failure or delays.
Right.
Because small projects are running like great, actually. बहुत सारे
Yeah.
products.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're exporting also. Many of these things
Right.
are exporting also.
Yeah. So I've seen it many times. Ki we tend to follow that headline of the day approach. कि अभी मार्केट में क्या चल रहा है, अभी रॉकेट इंजन चल रहे हैं, तो everything you'll hear about is just about the rocket engines. लेकिन there are lot of small industries. I'll give you an example. I was many years ago I was doing some engine testing in US. So I needed some really special fittings and all, and I quickly searched कि कहाँ पे मिल रही हैं and all. So probably at a local dealer, Home Depot पे मिल रही थी and stuff like that. So I went there and I grabbed these packet of 5 fittings, and you look at the back and it's made in India. तो आपको तब समझ में आता है कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इकोसिस्टम कितना बड़ा है. So somebody is making them in India and exporting it to US, and I'm buying the same fittings here for my testing needs. And world class fittings. I mean, I was using that in my my jet engine. So no doubt about it. I mean, तुम बहुत बड़ी देखते हो. Many of these small fittings and everything, they are made in India. तो उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. So you really have to see these things, right? I mean, that opens up your mind. कि बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि नहीं यार इंडिया ऐसे नहीं वैसे नहीं, लेकिन इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट. यू हैव टू डिग डीपर. Many people, they are just doing their work and they are not advertising properly. Like in the Western countries, they do their work and they have a sense of advertising as well, right? You get to see what they are doing, you get to see their failures, you get to see their successes. India में we are shy kind, right? I mean, हम अपने वर्कशॉप पे कर रहे हैं, सब कुछ गैराज में कर रहे हैं, लेकिन we are not coming out as such.
वो engineers fallacy है ना कि like they say if you have 10 engineers, put a non-engineer on top of them, so they'll deliver the project.
Right. And we for some reason I sometimes think we maybe are afraid of failures as well. Lekin in development phase, in engine development per se, and I work for all the big corporations, we shouldn't be afraid of any failures at all. I mean, कैसे होएगा अगर आप पहली बार इंजन चलाओगे, तो इंजन पहली बार में तो कैसे ही चलता है, मतलब इट्स लाइक अगर पहली बार में चल गया तो कोई दिक्कत है, मतलब देन इट्स अ प्रॉब्लम. So show your failure. That's your strength. I mean, ठीक है. There is a competition out in the market. सब करेंगे, सब सीखेंगे. Uh, that's how it is.
The failures are the building block of success, and nobody
Yeah.
should be scared of failure. So
Yeah.
this case, अगर failure का ही डर रहेगा तो कोई बनाएगा ही नहीं कुछ.
फिर बनाएगा क्या? Right.
कोई बनाएगा नहीं, you know, like और एक entrepreneur का एक basic quality होता है risk assessment and risk management
Yeah.
and also risk mitigation. तीन चीजें होती
Right.
है. So on
I
these
used to, sorry, I used to work for this company, and my boss, my director, so will go out commission engines and will service engines and all. So, and it was a brilliant company. It was a German company in US. तो उनके engines, they have been working for like 20-30 years. वो मेरे को तब भी हमेशा बोलता था, कहता कि obviously in English translating to हिंदी, कि जब भी हम इंजन को पहली बारी सर्विस कर रहे हैं और उसके बाद पहली बारी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, डोंट गो नियर द इंजन. तो इट्स दैट थिंग, राइट? कोई डाउट नहीं है कि वो इंजन चलेगा नहीं, लेकिन थिंग्स हैपन. आई मीन, फेलियर्स होते हैं, तो देयर इज नो एम्बैरेसमेंट इन दैट.
आपने कोई ऐसा फेलियर देखा?
बहुत सारे, endless number, the n number of failures we have seen. We still see failures. I mean, right? We keep on testing engines every now and then. Something happens, so that's how you make reliable products. Reliability is not made on paper, right? Reliability is proven in a lab. Reliability is proven in a mission. तो मैं पेपर पे जितना मर्जी थ्योरेटिकल कैलकुलेशंस कर लूं कि ये मेरा इंजन इतने आवर्स चलेगा बिफोर ओवरहॉल या बिफोर द मेजर major overhaul or some failure. What my simulations tell me, they show me. Lekin still, we go through the number of hours that we have to put on the engine, and that's just how you prove your engines are reliable. There is no shortcut to that.
तो जो आप endurance बनाते हैं engines की,
Yeah,
तो how many hours engine endurance you plan for?
at least 1,000 hours for our engines.
That's a good number.
But our time before overhauls is much less because industry में जितना भी चलता है, लेकिन we are testing our engines for much longer than that.
And then उसका जो service life होता है कितना रहता है engine
That
का?
depends. That varies from engine to engine. जो हमारे छोटे engines हैं for hobby applications, they are much lesser. For the mission grade engines, that's much higher. Can even go up to 100 hours between overhauls. So we are continuously trying to improve that. We are working with our customers. We are doing more and more testing and see what kind of failure modes happen. What are the we continuously do the root cause analysis for the failures. So जो भी is the weakest component, we try improving it and we keep on increasing the time between the overall.
क्योंकि ये सब important parameters हैं क्योंकि there is a lot of competition also.
Right.
एक interesting question आता है कि see China, whatever we may say about China, but they've done a good job on engine side.
Right.
And whatever we may say, Americans have almost obviously done it a good job here also. तो reliability factor का जब हम बात करते हैं, if we compare, और एक बात को तो मैं I can openly vouch the Indian quality is always better.
Right.
कपड़ा हो चाहे कोई भी चीज हो, it's always better. It's always better. So how do you compare your work and comparable engines in other countries like China or USA or UK or Europe?
So I think hardware wise we are at par or great. Hardware is fine. We are definitely at par. We have tested their engines as well. So performance wise, it's much closer, and at some points even greater. Lekin sometimes I think we lack on the software part in a way, key control systems and all. So we are continuously developing, and that's just for me as DG Propulsion. I'm not talking about any for anyone else. Maybe their software is better than anyone else as well. लेकिन हार्डवेयर में मेरे को पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस है सॉफ्टवेयर वी आर डेवलपिंग कंटिन्यूसली एंड विल गेट देयर तो इट विल बी एट पार द परफॉर्मेंस दैट माय कस्टमर्स आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम द वेस्टर्न तो उसमें देयर इज नो डाउट
इस सॉफ्टवेयर में तो हम लोग पावर हाउस समझे जाते हैं then why do you think this is not there?
So by software, it's not the traditional software in sense. I'm talking about the control software, the algorithm that goes in the ECM, that goes in the
CNCs.
PDEC.
Yes.
Yeah. So usme see, in order to develop that software or the control system for the engine, you have to have the knowledge of the software, जो कि इंडिया में बहुत है. There's so many software engineers, but you also have to have the idea of how the hardware works. अगर आपको यही नहीं पता होगा कि इंजन कैसे रैंप अप डाउन कर रहा है, कैसे स्टार्ट करता है, कैसे इग्निशन होती है, तो आप सॉफ्टवेयर कैसे डेवलप करोगे उसके लिए? तो that thing is really challenging, getting both the expertises in under one roof. तो that's something मैं काफी हेल्प कर रहा हूँ अपने अपने टीममेट्स की because I am actually learning a lot of C code and all. मैं काफी सारी कोडिंग की है मैंने जो मेरा this is by the way the FADEC controller that I have. So this is also our in-house product. This is universal jet engine controller. So this can work with any jet engine, obviously up to a certain range. लेकिन हमने इसको अपने छोटे इंजन में भी टेस्ट किया और बड़े में भी टेस्ट किया. So all the code, I have done a lot of coding for this product. तो coding तो software part हो गया, लेकिन this will run an engine autonomously, right? So you can only code if you know कि engine कैसे चलता है from 0 to 100. So that's what it takes.
एक मैं थोड़ा unrelated topic ले रहा हूँ because aircraft is my hobby by the way.
Nice.
तो जैसे मैंने आपका प्रोफाइल देखा तो जनरली मैं सिंगल इंजन और छोटे प्लेन्स होते हैं वो दैट मैं उड़ाता हूँ. सो मेरे को एक Indian government was buying a FADEC controlled engine IN-20 GIN-20 for F-04 for the Tejas program.
Okay.
But US Navy never buys FADEC controlled engines.
Right.
US Navy relies on dry thrust.
हम्म।
तो अगर ड्राई थ्रस्ट में उनके लिए जो इंजन जो उनको बेचे जाते हैं वो अलग टाइप के होते हैं इंजन्स,
ओके।
तो सिग्निफिकेंटली अब डेटा टेक्निकल डेटा पीपल कैन सर्च ऑन जी वेबसाइट एंड अदर थिंग्स।
हम्म।
तो ये फेडेक कैन फेडेक बी हैक्ड?
दैट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन, आई नॉट थॉट अबाउट इट। मेरे को ऐसा लगता है, दिस इज जस्ट माय थिंकिंग, जो भी तुम्हारा लॉजिक या जो भी सॉफ्टवेयर है ना, दैट कैन बी हैक्ड एट एनी गिवन पॉइंट।
ट्रू।
You just have to keep on making more stronger firewalls and uh, more robust systems. But definitely, if it's not a manual system, it can be hacked. And there's a reason कि जो भी आपके न्यूक्लियर फैसिलिटीज हैं, जो भी आपके these ballistic missiles and all, they're still manual. Like literally, someone has to go and turn the key, right? So
फ्लॉपी डिस्क अभी भी यूज करते हैं, फ्लॉपी डिस्क।
exactly, they use. I've seen that as well, right? So that's the reason.
1.44, 1.44, I don't even remember 1.44,
There
but
was a funny thing. There was a funny thing. I was somebody was telling. There is no cloud. It is just someone else's computer.
exactly.
So yes, it can be hacked. It's just a matter of who's writing the better code, right? And there are
हाँ
many hackers around everywhere. तो हाँ, कोड है तो कोई आपसे अच्छा लिख के कर सकता है हैक उसको।
हाँ, वो जो
तो हाँ,
पोर्ट
ये तो है।
पोर्ट
ये
अगर
तो
खोल दिया किसी ने तो एंड इट्स इजी,
एग्जैक्टली
वो हार्डवेयर इंक्रिप्शन भी नहीं चलता उस समय, क्योंकि हार्डवेयर
राइट।
कैन बी
ओ
डिक्रिप्टेड।
या दे इट कैन बी डिक्रिप्टेड। आई मीन आपकी पीसीबीज कॉपी हो जाती हैं।
हाँ
यू कैन लिटरली सेंड अ पीसीबी और आपको सारा सर्किट डायग्राम बना के दे देंगे।
करेक्ट।
तो इट्स अ डिजिटल लैंग्वेज, अगर आप उसमें डाल सकते हो, निकाल भी सकते हो। आई डोंट नो हाउ मच कम्प्लेक्सिटी इट टेक्स, हाउ मच रिसोर्सेज, बट आई थिंक इट कैन बी हैक्ड प्रीटी मच।
आई मे साउंड वेरी ओल्ड बट मैं फोर्ट्रान 77 से शुरू किया था प्रोग्रामिंग, सो वी नो।
मेरे को सॉरी टू से आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट
फोर्ट्रान 77, 8085, then 800386, तो वो सब
दोस आर द
माइक्रो
बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स, या
ओल्ड टाइमर्स, ओल्ड टाइम्स। एक नाउ वी एक मेरा पर्सनल था वो क्वेश्चन, बट एनीवे नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू एक मुझे आपके वेबसाइट पे जब मैंने इंजन्स के डिजाइन देखा, लाइक आई हैव सीन 4 5, यू हैव एंड यू आर शोइंग आल्सो वन,
राइट।
और मुझे एक चीज बड़ा रेल्स पे आप उसको थ्रस्ट को चेक कर रहे हैं, लाइक यू आर चेकिंग द
राइट।
थ्रस्ट ऑन द
या
रेल्स, how
या
much is the thrust, and you already told us that 1 kilonewton, right? Is that right?
या
1
या
kilonewton
या
is that you're testing? अभी जो हम लोग तेजस प्रोग्राम में बात कर रहे हैं, which is around 95 kilonewtons,
राइट।
and some cases we are talking about 110 plus kilonewton. So what does that thrust calculate? What is the outcome? वो 100 kilonewton कितना thrust होता है? What is that? Measurement कैसा है? 1 kilonewton से शुरू करें तो what is that? How much power you feel?
इट्स मच
मतलब
ग्रेटर।
कितना वेट रिड्यूस किया, मतलब 1 kilonewton कितना वेट मूव करता है, then we can all know that 100 kilonewton कितना वेट
सी
मूव करता
1 किलो न्यूटन ऑब्वियसली 100 किलोग्राम्स। तो अगर आप हॉरिजॉन्टल प्लेन में बात करेंगे तो इट कैन पुश 100 किलोग्राम्स और स्लाइटली लेस बिकॉज ऑफ द फ्रिक्शन एंड एवरीथिंग। लेकिन व्हेन यू पुट दिस इंजन इन एयरक्राफ्ट, इट्स अ होल डिफरेंट बॉल गेम। तो एयरक्राफ्ट इज नॉट lifting the weight because of the thrust, it's lifting because of the lift that it generates through its wings, और उसके लिए उसको फॉरवर्ड वेलोसिटी चाहिए रहती है। तो in a very very basic level, you can have an aircraft with thrust to lift ratio or lift to thrust ratio of 10 is to 1 or 15 is to 1, very basic aircraft। तो 10 is to 1 I mean कि अगर वो 100 kg का thrust लगा रहा है इन अ हॉरिजॉन्टल प्लेन, तो वर्टिकल प्लेन में इट कैन लिफ्ट 10 टाइम्स द वेट विच इज 1000 किलोग्राम। तो आपके नॉर्मल जो एयरक्राफ्ट है उनका तो काफी ज्यादा रहता है इससे। तो अगर आप यू कैन एक्चुअली गो ऑनलाइन एंड सी की बोइंग 747 का थ्रस्ट कितना है इंजन का वर्सेस जो उसका टेक ऑफ वेट है वो कितना है, तो दैट विल बी ऑर्डर ऑफ मैग्नीट्यूड हायर देन दी थ्रस्ट। तो दैट्स हाउ थ्रस्ट वर्क। सो वी आर नॉट, कोई भी एयरक्राफ्ट सीधा तो नहीं चलता अनलेस इट्स अ वीटॉल एयरक्राफ्ट, राइट, वर्टिकल टेक ऑफ और लैंडिंग। So we don't need thrust equivalent to the weight of the aircraft. We just need to get it to certain speed. The lift is able to lift the aircraft weight. लेकिन from 1 kilonewton to 100 kilonewton, it's a pretty intense journey. Obviously, the sizes they increase tremendously, the amount of components they increase tremendously. You have many more compressor stages, many more turbine stages, really really intricate combustion chamber. So it's definitely gonna be a journey. Lekin you have to start somewhere, right? So it's all about getting the right team, getting the right people. And trust me when I say this, there is no lack of people in India, like the
Yes.
technical people. जब से मैंने काम शुरू किया, I've been contacted by so many uh, people from the industry, and they are working with bigger corporations. And I mean, these people are brilliant. They have done so much work. एक मेरे पास आया था बंदे का प्रोफाइल. He was doing the data crunching just for himself from the NASA engines and all, and he was able to uh, tell you कि ये इंजन कब ओवरऑल करना पड़ेगा, बस जस्ट लुकिंग एट द डेटा. तो लाइक फोरकास्ट कर पा रहा था वो. इट्स ब्रिलियंट. आई मीन ही हैड रिटन अ प्रोग्राम टू डू दैट. There are so many brilliant people around. I think it's just a matter of time. We gather the right team and we just start this. We get it done. You
Yeah,
just have to have the right incentives to do that. That's it.
no, your journey is so impressive. अगर देखा जाए तो बड़ा impressive journey है आपका, because uh, being an entrepreneur is the work of a कलेजा चाहिए, बोलते हैं हिंदी में, कलेजा
Right.
चाहिए आप.
Right. Yeah.
It's that's how it works. And hats off to all the entrepreneurs, क्योंकि जो भी चाहे सक्सेस हो फेलियर डजंट मैटर,
Yeah.
और अटेम्प्ट तो किया ना, दैट्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट.
I'll tell you this. More than 90% of the people, entrepreneurs and all, they're not doing it for the money. मेरे को अभी तक एक पैसा नहीं मिला इससे. Like I've earned nothing out of it. I've just I've kept on putting my money. We have been bootstrapping. हाँ, investors आएंगे इसमें. मैंने एक भी रुपया सैलरी नहीं लिया. तो माय वाइफ इज वर्किंग फुल टाइम. हाँ, घर चलता है. अ, मैं भी थोड़ा इधर उधर फ्रीलांसिंग कर लेता हूँ, जो भी है सारा. लेकिन अगर ये पैसे के लिए होता तो ये बहुत पहले बंद हो गया होता. वन थिंग
एब्सोल्युटली.
इज फॉर श्योर. हम 10-12 साल नहीं चला पाते इसे. एंड आई हैव स्पोकन टू मेनी पीपल इन द इंडस्ट्री हु आर डूइंग डिफरेंट वर्क. दे आर इन द ई-कॉमर्स एंड ऑल. एंड मैं उनसे मिलता हूँ तो द क्वेश्चन दैट आई आस्क देम ऑल द टाइम इज कि जब आपने शुरू किया था तो क्या सोच के किया था. तो नोबडी नोज राइट कि आप $1 बिलियन बनेंगे, आप यूनिकॉर्न बनेंगे. 10 साल पहले किसको पता होता. 10-12 साल पहले मेरे को अभी तक नहीं पता आगे क्या होगा. लेकिन वी आर नॉट इन फॉर द मनी. हाँ, बिजनेस तो चलेगा. ऑब्वियसली इंजन बिकेंगे तो बिजनेस भी चलेगा. एंड यू हैव टू रन द बिजनेस. you'll have to pay the salaries of the people working for you. तो अगर जितनी भी बड़ी टीम होगी उतना बिजनेस चलना चाहिए, तो वो तो करना पड़ेगा. धंधा तो चलना ही है. लेकिन हाँ, अभी तक तो it's just been bootstrapped run.
इट्स अ वेरी एनकरेजिंग थिंग, क्योंकि दैट्स हाउ द कंपनीज आर बिल्ट. ऐसा नहीं है कि अमेरिकन को भी देखता हूँ, अमेरिका में तो कुछ
Yeah.
हेल्प नहीं हुआ. लोगों को लगता है अमेरिका में बहुत हेल्प है. यू नो द इंडस्ट्री नाउ अमेरिका में.
Right. Yeah.
इट टेक्स कितने लोग हैं, अच्छे अच्छे लोग हैं, बट दे स्ट्रगल एंड मेनी प्रोजेक्ट्स दे डोंट इवन सक्सीड. कुछ को मालूम ही नहीं है क्या चल रहा है.
Huh? Yeah. We only hear about the good stories, right? We rarely hear about the bad stories. बहुत सारे
Pain.
लोग अपने garages में काम कर रहे हैं. They're
हाँ.
making brilliant products in their garages.
यस
Yeah.
यस. एक और मेरा क्वेश्चन है, जैसे कि when you're looking to expand, and I hope you get investors for your project, and
Yeah.
who are watching, they should pay attention to what we are saying, क्योंकि जब हम ग्रोथ देखते हैं एंड वी प्लान फॉर अ बिगर पिक्चर, क्योंकि अभी 1 किलोमीटर एक केन बनाया है, तो यू वांट टू आल्सो बिल्ड 110 आल्सो इन फ्यूचर,
Definitely. Definitely.
क्योंकि
Yeah.
ग्रोथ डजंट स्टॉप एट 1 केन.
Right.
तो जो जो आपको the current bottlenecks we see, Tejas or all these programs you see, and GTRE, I'll refer to only GTRE. So I can fully understand their pain, because they are
Right.
fully equipped to do 75
Yeah.
kilonewton now.
Yeah.
So 75 kilonewton से 110 kilonewton का journey कितना होता है?
I think it's just a matter of time. I cannot put it in number of years or months. But 75 kilonewton is impressive. It's not an easy feat. I mean, अगर आप बोले कि 75 बनाना easy था, that person is lying. That's a lie all around. 75 kilonewton is not easy at all with the kind of resources we have. Uh, I think वो कर लेंगे. मेरे को पूरा भरोसा है उन पे. लेकिन the only thing is, see, your expectation from a startup has to be totally different from your expectation from a government run PSU. So most of the things they cannot be done in 8 to 5 salary.
Exactly.
Right? वो you just have to have the right incentives.
22
तो
घंटा भी कम होता है.
हाँ, थोड़ा मतलब फर्क तो पड़ता है उससे. तो yeah, I think they'll be able to do it. It's slow. A lot of these bureaucratic things are inherently slow. Sarkari kams are inherently slow. Or they are doing their job. They are not running a company. They are doing their job. तो उसमें जितना वो करके दे रहे हैं, it's much more impressive. तो या वो थोड़े राइट इंसेंटिव्स हों. ऑब्वियसली मेरे को भी पूछते हैं कि यार डीआरडीओ ने मतलब एचएएल ने नहीं किया, तो we cannot compete with HAL. HAL is a big institution. They're like the biggest in India.
It's institution, yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's an institution. It's the system as a whole. Lekin, why are they not able to do this? They can if they want, obviously. Lekin, you ask the same question for the bigger companies. Rolls Royce क्यों नहीं बना रहा? या जब
So,
many companies वो क्यों नहीं आ रहे किसी मार्केट स्पेस में? अब रोल्स रॉयस जोमेटो जैसा प्रोडक्ट क्यों नहीं बना रहा? मतलब दिस इज अ स्टूपिड क्वेश्चन, राइट? वो क्योंकि वो करना ही नहीं चाह रहे वो, राइट? दे आर नॉट टारगेटिंग दैट. दे हैव देयर बिजनेसेस सेट अप, दे हैव देयर एवरीथिंग सेट अप. तो वो नए स्पेस में नहीं आते. एंड इट्स वेरी difficult for a big company with all of their momentum to change direction and directly go to a new space. And that's where startups they excel, because startups are agile. They can quickly change direction, they can pivot, and ठीक है यार, ये दिक्कत आ रही है, ये करते हैं. I was actually speaking to a program head of a very big company in India. I will obviously not take the name. They wanted to enter the market, jet engines market and all. तो मैंने उनसे पूछा, मैंने कहा सर आपके पास तो काफी बजट भी है, you have everything, तो why are you still struggling? तो he bluntly said, कहता कि अपर मैनेजमेंट wants to do it, लेकिन जो मिडिल मैनेजमेंट में है उसमें इतना ज्यादा हर्डल है कि दे आर नॉट एबल टू फुलफिल एनीथिंग. दे आर जस्ट नॉट रन. अब होता क्या है इन बिग कंपनीज, वी क्रिएट टीम्स बिफोर क्रिएटिंग वर्क. ठीक है, हम 20-25 लोगों की टीम बना लेंगे, देन वी हैव टू पे देम सैलरीज एंड ऑल. तो सैलरीज तो विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम डे वन. तो देन विल डू एंडलेस मीटिंग्स. एक लूप चलता रहेगा जिसमें मीटिंग्स हो रही हैं लेकिन पता नहीं लग रहा कौन क्या कर रहा है. So that's your overhead cost. वो आपका, you keep on burning money. And I've seen startups also, you know, getting stuck in that loop. Many people, they get the funding and then they like go on a hiring spree कि 10-15-20 लोग hire कर लिए, and then they quickly lose all the money. तो जहां पे भी ये चलता है वो usually you end up in a failure.
ये आपने बड़ा अच्छा बात बोला था माइंडसेट के ऊपर, बिकॉज यू नीड ए, you know, once you are into this space, you have to clear your mindset, और mindset ही कुछ और होना चाहिए, because
Yep.
वो mindset has to be of delivering and conquering, solving problems. और मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग के समय में बहुत लोग चिकन आउट हो जाते हैं.
Yep.
एंड दैट्स बिकॉज दैट्स वेयर यू नीड, जैसे सॉफ्टवेयर डिबगिंग में लोग डर जाते हैं बुरी तरह,
Yep.
और that's where the mindset comes in, where you need to have the right mindset to go through the rigorous
Yep.
things over there. मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है आपसे, like
Mhm.
when we see the market space that you're targeting,
Yep.
तो you know, obviously एक market, India is a major market now, तो इंडिया है और साउथ ईस्ट एशिया है,
Mhm.
अफ्रीका है, बिकॉज जहाँ पे नीड है.
Yep.
अमेरिका में कंपटीशन ज्यादा होगा, यूरोप में भी कंपटीशन होगा, बट द रिव्यूज फ्रॉम अमेरिका विल हेल्प यू सेल इन अदर प्लेसेस आल्सो. वो भी बात
That has always worked.
always work.
लेकिन contrary to popular belief, US में बहुत बड़ा मार्केट है
Hmm.
and actually काफी कम competition है. There are very few people manufacturing it in US. So that's something we are targeting as well. We know we have the know-how. We know how to manufacture these things. So I have been in US for many years. तो मेरे को पता है वहाँ पे काम कैसा चलता है and all. So I have that pedigree, so to say, कि I have my contacts and everything, and that's precisely the reason I'm in US right now to do the fundraising and all. तो काफी बड़ी market. It's the addressable market, or you what you call it, TAM, the total addressable market, is very huge. आपके पास अभी 2 या 3 इंजन सप्लायर्स ही हैं बस सारी दुनिया के लिए. तो यू कैन योरसेल्फ इमेजिन कि कितना बड़ा मार्केट है इसमें. तो या विल ट्राई टू फिल द गैप्स.
Which are those? GE obviously is one.
जीई है, प्रैट एंड विटनी है, रोल्स रॉयस है, एंड देन स्नैकमा एंड the other company from France जो उनका joint venture है. So very few manufacturers, and they are very much in this one small space जिसमें वो fighter jets और passenger jets के बना रहे हैं. And for the smaller products, very few people are making them.
And what about Brazil? उनका भी Embraer company है.
But they are not into engine manufacturing as far as I know. They get their engines from Pratt and Whitney, from GE and the kinds.
दर्शकों को ये बोल दूं मैं कि most of the American trucks run on Indian pistons, by the way.
Oh yeah.
They're considered the best in the world.
I'll tell you.
लुधियाना में बनते हैं, लुधियाना में बनते हैं वो.
सर ये तो आपने जो बात छेड़ दी है, I've seen that happen many years. I used to work for this company in US, and they used to make big marine engines like 2000 3000 kilowatt. The crankshaft, which is the major component, was made in India.
Yes.
Bharat Forge. So Bharat Forge से वो literally I've seen this really big pallets coming, वो crate आते थे, Bharat Forge लिखा होता था उस पे. So yes, they are made in India, no doubt about it. Very best quality, like they were the market leaders in their space. उसमें कोई शक नहीं है. और ये लुधियाना, क्रैंकशाफ्ट वगैरह, बैंगलोर एंड ऑल, तो ये बनते हैं, मतलब इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. एंड वी आर एक्चुअली टारगेटिंग दैट स्पेस इन अ वे कि हम उन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को एम्पावर कर रहे हैं कि भाई अगर तुम इतना अच्छा कंपोनेंट इस इंडस्ट्री के लिए बना सकते हो, तो व्हाई कैन नॉट यू मेक द सेम कंपोनेंट फॉर अस. वी गिव देम द ड्राइंग्स, वी गिव देम कि ये टॉलरेंसेस हैं, एंड नाउ दे आर डूइंग इट. मैंने अभी अभी ट्विटर पे डाला है this intake for the turbojet engine. I mean, you think about it, it's a stationary part. उसके अंदर compressor घूम रहा है like 1600 times per second at just 0.2 millimeter away from it, right? तो you can yourself imagine क्या precision है, और वो part चल रहा है. तो उसमें मतलब और क्या करना है उसमें, बताओ.
Is Kalyani Forge the same as Bharat Forge, or they're two different companies?
Kalyani Group है, and Bharat Forge is under Kalyani Group only.
Kalyani Industries. The same company, and they are selling. Yeah. And they are selling artillery guns to USA right now.
Yeah, they're impressive company. Those guys are impressive. Yeah, I think those guys are the flag bearers of Atam and Nirbata, Make in India. Yeah.
No, I wish you all success actually, and thank you for coming on Sattology.
Thank you.
And for the viewers also, I would say that just see an extraordinary story actually of a person who is working hard to get things done. Should be an inspiration for सबके लिए होना चाहिए, सबके लिए inspiration होना चाहिए, because you know our Sattology task is totally different. तो हम लोग तो mostly on the historical prehistory पे काम करते हैं. But these kind of stories make our culture relevant today for now. यही तो grit होता है. Yeah. The grit, the determination and deliverance, वही से सारा आता है. Thank you so much, Pratik.
Thanks, Adi. Thanks for this opportunity. Very much liked it. बहुत अच्छा था discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.